If you're interested in becoming a paralegal, I'd like to talk you through what it takes to be a good one, what kind of experience you have to have, hint, sometimes it's zero experience, and I'll give you some examples of how you can get into working in a law firm even if you don't have relevant experience. I'm Tiffany Weber. I'm a North Carolina real estate attorney. Paralegals are in high demand, and rightfully so. Paralegals are indispensable to attorneys because they help prepare case files, they can draft legal documents for the attorney to review and refine, and they just generally keep the attorney's practice on track by making sure everything is moving like it's supposed to be. So we are very blessed and thankful to have at Thomas & Weber a great group of paralegals. Interestingly, North Carolina, where I am located, does not require you to have any sort of certification to be a paralegal. The trick is you cannot call yourself a certified paralegal if you are not certified. So the difference is are you a North Carolina certified paralegal or are you a paralegal? In my office, we have a lot of people who did not go to school to become a paralegal. You can do that. You can go to school to become a paralegal. You can take the certification exam. You can have that NCCP next to your name, the whole nine. But most of my team did not go that route. And I think that's great because it brings a lot of varied experience into our firm that makes it better. In my office, I can think of 3 different paths for how people became paralegals. One is that they went to school. They did the traditional route. So we've got our paralegal supervisor, Tana. She went to school. She's been a career paralegal. And it definitely shows in her work, and I think that's part of why she is so good at what she does, is that she took what she learned in her coursework and was able to apply it immediately on the job. Again, I think that's why she is the manager and why she's been doing this so long and so well. Now, some of the things that you might expect to learn if you are in school to become a paralegal, you're going to learn essentially the organization and life cycle of a case. So you'll know how it's going, especially in litigation, how it follows through from pre-suit to discovery, to litigation, to settle, all of those things you're going to learn about the life cycle of case. You may also learn, how do you put together your litigation binders? How do the files need to be organized? You're going to learn legal terminology because there's all kinds of it. A lot of it's Latin, and you're going to need to know when your boss asks you, hey, what was the mens rea? You need to know what that means without having to Google it every single time. So you're going to learn legal terminology. So that's the school route. And I think that, they're shining examples of when school can be very helpful, but it's not the only way. We also have a paralegal in our office that came from a different corporate background. So she worked in accounting. Melanie had an accounting background, and she came to us without having been a paralegal before, but she quickly picked up on what was needed. And then she also had work experience that she already understood. How do I work in an office with other people? How do I meet deadlines? How do I do all of those things? So she was immediately set up for success. She also had the capability to learn new concepts quickly. So if you're somebody that doesn't really like to learn stuff on the fly, you think you need a couple years to get your bearings, then maybe don't try to just jump into a new career path without having some education on it. And then finally, we have so many people in our office who came to us having no experience in the law whatsoever. They never worked at a law firm before in any capacity. We have typically hired people from food service and retail, and all of those people are so great at what they do. And I think something that you learn in food service and hospitality and in retail is how do you deal with angry people? You learn how to master dealing with somebody who is completely upset over the most minor inconvenience. You forgot my ketchup, well, I'm going to burn your world down. Well, they know how to deal with people like that. So if you can handle someone who's upset over a minor inconvenience and get them back to where they need to be, then you can handle just about anything. So those people come to us with problem-solving skills. Of course, they have those baseline skills I talked about, but they bring a level of problem-solving to the firm that it makes it a home run to be able to transfer into learning how to do, real estate paralegal work from an industry that has nothing to do with the law. So thank you, Bath and Body Works. I'm sorry that we try to hire all of your employees. Just kidding. That's not our stated intention. It just happened that way a couple times. So shout out Jordan and Amanda. We are so glad that you are with us now. That's who I'm talking about specifically. They do a great job at managing people. Melissa is another great example of coming from hospitality and food service and works different types of work like that. Cool as a cucumber under pressure. And that is a trait that will serve you very well as a paralegal. Now, what personality traits do I think you need to have to be a good paralegal? This is regardless of if you go to school to be a paralegal or not. I think you need to be organized. Absolutely, you need to be organized, because if your firm is doing any sort of volume, you're not just working on one file every day for months at a time. If you're in a litigation firm, sure, your cases may extend, but most firms don't only have one client that they do one single thing for forever and ever, amen. So you need to be organized to make sure that you know what's going on and what needs to be done. You also need to have superior attention to detail. In my firm, one of our 4 core values is details matter. And this is true not just in my firm, but in really any business, is that the details matter. How you do the little things is how you do the big things. So if you are sloppy in your work on the little things, then you will probably be sloppy in your work on the big things. So a good paralegal looks at even the minor things. It might be a form that you've seen 100 times, but you're still checking to make sure everything is just right. So attention to detail is critical. Also, you need to be not just a good communicator, but you need to be a great communicator. In real estate, specifically in my firm, our paralegals are communicating with all the parties all day long. So you need to make sure that you are not sending communication to someone that's not supposed to get it. We represent the buyer, so if this is something that's supposed to go to the buyer, you're not sending it to the seller, that you're talking to who you should be talking to and in a way that they can understand and allows them to act appropriately. A pet peeve of mine is if somebody just dumps information on me and doesn't tell me why they're sending it or what I need to do with it. So if our office was full of paralegals like that, then I would probably go crazy. Thankfully, it's not that way. So they send over actionable information. They're communicating in a way that helps people understand what's their next step. So if you want to be a paralegal, highly recommend that you communicate in that way. So in my office, I have seen all the different paths that paralegals can take, and I have seen them all work out beautifully. So the whole point of me saying this is that while it is great to go get the certification if that is something you desire, please don't let that be the only thing holding you back from trying out being a paralegal. If that option is open to you and your state doesn't require the certification, like North Carolina, then give it a shot. You do not have to have been a paralegal to be a paralegal in a state that doesn't require that certification. So take a look wherever you live to see if it's required. If it's not, just know that there is always a chance for you to switch career paths and become a paralegal, hopefully at my office someday.